live. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the Thursday night lit stream. I'm here with my show, bro. Tarek, how's it going, friend?
Oh man, it's going good. It's one more day to the weekend, so counting down days.
So
It's
close.
right around the corner.
So close.
But it's feeling good, man. Always glad to be back for the lit stream. Hang out with some most dope guests, talk footy and whatever else people want to talk about. So it's always a good time, man. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
How was your day, man?
Oh man, people around me were trying me. I've been trying this whole not forcibly trying to waste all my happiness and joy on people who may not appreciate it. So I've been trying to just come into work and being more calm and just chill, and it did not work today. There were everybody.
What you should do?
What was that?
You should just put up how you have a countdown, like a calendar, and you just mark off X's to Christmas when you were a kid or whatever, right? You just how many days till I'm in Manchester?
14
days. So I just be like, man, look, there is nothing that you all can say or do to me that's gonna ruin my next 2 weeks. It's just getting closer and closer, man. It's gonna be great.
Oh man, it is gonna be great. I'm starting to hatch out plans with people and meeting up with some people. I'm super excited. I think I'm gonna be running around with daps and stuff like that.
What's up?
Yeah, that'll be good. And just waiting to hear back. I get into Manchester about 4-ish, and there's a rugby match.
Where are you flying out of?
O'Hare.
O'Hare?
Yeah.
So as you know, we're thinking about trying to go later, a couple months later, but looking at flying out of O'Hare as well. Yeah.
It's just it's the easiest. I looked at flying out from my area, and it was an extra $800.
Ooh. And it probably makes it longer because you got to stop different places, and how long is your layover? And that's why I was like, if I go out of Chicago, it's just in most cases it's a direct flight. So or you can get, at least you can get a direct flight if you want to. It's expensive though.
It's definitely it's not great. I think I'm gonna go to a rugby match that night. There's one in Salford. Yeah, it's like a challenge cup, a cup competition match there, and so it's a 15-minute share drive, Uber
or whatever.
Yeah, a 15-minute ride there. So that's very manageable, and I got nothing going on. Oh yeah,
that's actually pretty cool because I know you like rugby, so that's what's up.
Yeah, and that'll be the only time I'll go to support anything Salford. So yeah, it bees like that sometimes. But man, excited. Fantastic guests we got going on. Saul is back for his monthly visit. Always good to chat. Wow, chop it up with a friend. And then Fletcher will be on, and Braden. Someone's coffee. Hey,
what's going on, man?
Listen, this Udi original is keeping me warm during these cold winter nights. I shouldn't say that it's that cold because it's actually one of the warmest days that it's been
I'm sitting down here in the basement and I got my heater on right underneath the desk, right in front of me, just underneath. So I'm looking at you and I'm like, you know what? I should have asked for one of those when they were asking for it. I should have put my name in.
Bro,
I was like, man,
I didn't understand.
You look real comfy right now.
I didn't understand that. I was like, this is and please you can go to my Instagram and watch my unboxing video because I thought that was pretty fun. It was the first time I had done that. Shout out to Crunk for editing the parts where I cursed because I thought I forgot that I was I'm representing a brand. I can't curse. Oh God.
Hey, and it was an easy fix, a real easy fix. So it's a light work. Yeah, honestly, it is very warm. I had to change my seats. I had a typical office chair that I used to sit in, and it finally down. And my only other chair that I have is like a leather one, and it took me like a whole week to be like, why am I always so hot after I'm done recording? And it's because it's a fucking leather seat, and no, I have like my window cracked right now. I have a nice little like cool breeze blowing my way, and then this Manhattan isn't, it's adding to my warmth as well.
I was just about to ask what your drink of choice was this evening.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
our
23
favorite
flavors.
DDs.
All 23 flavors.
Oh man. But let's bring in our first guest. Let's welcome in a fellow citizen. Let's talk some city. Shady Gang, give it up for Saul.
What's up, guys? Brother? Good to be here. Good to be here as always. Everyone looking fresh. I like it. Good start to the lit stream.
Yes,
let's
go.
Glad to have you.
I first off, I see the Lakers hat. I was telling my showgirls yesterday, I stayed up mad late the other day to watch the Laker Mavs game because I was already doing some stuff. But then once I saw that they were playing, I was like, oh, I kind of have to tap into that. And yeah, it was a good Lakers won.
Yeah, it's been a good couple weeks.
LeBron is a monster still. It's so crazy thinking how talented he is still. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I was coming home from Royal Rumble. I went up to Indy for the show.
Nice.
And as soon as I was trying to go to bed, the Luka trade hit. So I stayed up like another 2 hours following it. So it was a crazy turn of events.
I was the biggest Laker fan as a kid, and I've put my Laker fandom on hold. Once they traded Shaq, the Shaq Kobe thing messed me up. I put it on hold and I refused to pick it back up because as long as Kobe was there. So then when Kobe was going to leave, I had a newfound respect, but I wasn't going to change my mind. I was going to wait till he left. And then they went and got LeBron. So I was like, I can't be a fan with LeBron. So I'm just waiting for him to retire. I'm okay with Luka, but I'm not okay with LeBron. So I gotta wait for him to retire before I can be a Laker fan again. But I go back to the Magic, James Worthy. Those are my days. So that's where that's my fandom.
Yeah, see, I'm a complete LeBron guy. So that's gonna have to be a conversation for another day, Terry, man. LeBron gotta be the GOAT, man.
And Saul said he was LeBron
to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, I think he's great. But
the hat fits, man. The hat fits.
There you go. There you go. Just accept it, right? Hey, you know what? My dad's the same way. It is what it is.
I feel like, not to age you, Tarek, but I don't feel like a lot of the younger guys my age and younger think completely opposite from you guys. So it's interesting.
It's because we saw Mike play. That's why.
Yeah.
And like I said, I recognize Michael's greatness. Magic Johnson was my favorite player, or still to this day is my favorite player. Probably one of the few players that I follow on social media because it's Magic Johnson. It's gonna be whatever. Picture of him and Kareem right there. Another one on the other side over there. Yeah, Magic is my dude always and forever. So, like I said, I didn't want to come back because I felt like being a Laker fan with LeBron is kind of like being a quote unquote plastic. Right, I get that enough as a City fan. I don't need that as a Laker basketball fan. So I just need him to leave so I can come back and be a Laker fan again. But I love the hat though.
It's a good hat.
I was a Charles Barkley fan growing up, and I mean, and I was technically a Celtics fan, but I really loved the way that I had like the super buzz cut growing up, and I was even lighter than I was now. Like I legitimately looked like a little Charles Barkley growing up, and then from there it kind of pivoted to Paul Pierce because my basketball playing style was similar to his, like shifty fast, like a lot. I did a lot of like step backs and Euro step, and like it was an old man game, even though I was a kid. So yeah. Hey, this is fun. A little basketball talk. Hey,
a little bit.
I hated Paul Pierce. so much. First of all, mainly because he went to KU. Like that was my biggest thing. Like,
that's fair.
Like that's a big thing here. It was like the Mizzou KU stuff here in Kansas City. Like that's real. Like if you look up like the origins of that, it's.
So are you a Mizzou fan?
Yeah.
College? Okay.
Yeah, like more
Yeah,
like I think
better than
kind of
Kansas.
like like more like I can't I think I've gotten to the point where like I cannot enjoy college basketball because it's so bad. Like it's not great.
It is
Like,
not
See,
great.
I
It's not
like
great,
college
yeah.
better than I like the pros at this point, men's and women's. I love college basketball.
see, now I love women's college basketball.
That's
but
where my
like,
heart is.
But like men's college basketball just seems lame to me. I don't know. Just like there's no story development or anything like that. Like, but like, cause like, okay, cause like, like,
I love it. No,
I think that's why like there's this disconnect about like everything about the NBA. Like you talk about in terms of like, oh, this is the stuff they're not doing, or this is the stuff that I hate about the NBA. Like, because you don't get to see these players like, okay, this 18-year-old kid, he goes to he's gonna be at Creighton for 3 years, and like eventually like he's like, oh gosh, he took Creighton to the Elite Eight. Like he's really good as a junior. It's like he's going to the league. Like you don't get to see him grow up. Like now it's like, okay, he went to wherever was going to give him the NIL bag, or he's going to go straight to the G League or what have you, and then you don't get to see that player develop or really.
I mean,
it feels like it's the complete opposite from college football and even world football, where you see them grow up and you see them at their schools, you see them with their childhood clubs, and then going to Europe. So I get it.
Yes, exactly that.
Hey, but let's talk a little
footy.
Yes, and specifically Man City. We purposely pushed our recording this week to after the Tottenham game because the idea of talking about back-to-back losses.
Best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, like Tom Baum was like, "Hey, how about we do this?" And it's like, okay, I like that idea. I love that idea, and we got the win. Broke the Tottenham. Well, we beat Tottenham at Tottenham last year, and then like lost to them a couple weeks later. So the Tottenham curse is it? I feel like we need one more win, and then it's officially broken. Like
it's
like
fading. I think it's fading.
Yes,
that's what I would say. Fading. Not the best season to get your win at Tottenham, which is pretty hard for us. So, not the best year for it.
I'll give them that win if it gives me my title back. You can have all the wins you want against us if we keep winning titles. I don't care.
Oh man, but how are you feeling about things? Because the win, looking at the Premier League table as we were talking, I definitely brought up the fact that we could potentially pass Arsenal, and the idea of being able to pass Arsenal for take over that second spot. We just smashed APT. Your welcome league. Now do something with this, and possibly, I'm pretty sure we're gonna handle 115. I low-key have been telling people we were going to. I mean, obviously,
so
yeah. So like to do that, and we could do a FA Cup run, but just in itself, getting second, the head loss coming from Arsenal and possibly other people, like it's beautiful. The outlook, even though it's a sad year because no Champions League and we won't win the league, but there's still plenty to be happy about, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think initially when I know I was gonna do the lit stream, I was kind of feeling a little pessimistic, but then as the games went by, I know the Liverpool loss was tough, but that Spurs one kind of spirited me up a little bit. I think the chance for second might be a little too far, but I do think Pep does know what he has to do now. He has to do a not a complete overhaul, but a really well overhaul, kind of like fixing up a house. He has to not gut everything, but he has to change out all the furniture. He's got to get new appliances. So I think he's on the right track. I think a couple more signings in the summer. And then I also think Pep will stay another year or two, which will help. And I think he's going to start it right back up. Going to get league titles again, going to get another champions, and then he'll leave. I think his goal eventually would be the 2030 World Cup because it's going to be in Spain. So another few years of Pep we still got. So
okay, I like that. Amy, Good to see you. Man, that's a good shout though. 20 take over Spain. Give him a couple years to kind of relax. You know, we'll see. He said he won't do commentary and he won't be a talking head because he.
No, he made too much money to be a talking head.
Well, I believe his excuse. He basically was just like, I know what it's like to have stuff talked about me, and I don't want to have to do that. And it makes complete sense. Like, could you imagine a manager or a player getting like made fun of or ridiculed by the best manager in modern day football? Like that would be embarrassing. Yeah, like Pep said, and then got himself into trouble. I'd want to harm myself. Like that's what I'm sure exactly what the players would, our managers would say.
I think he'd be great though in it because he's really honest. So I think that would help him a lot. Unlike we've seen like Carragher get into some heat the past week, which was completely deserved. So it's stuff like that that really paints them in a bad light. I think Pep being honest and being himself would actually help, but it does seem he doesn't want to do it at all. So
no, not at all. Oh man. Okay. Well, you still see Pep. Well, I do agree with Pep staying a couple of years and Haaland oh, sorry. Go for it, Tom.
You really think that like I know that he says that he wants to like get into international football like as a manager, but like is Spain like really where he would want to go? Like I know that he like being Catalan, like I know that's kind of like has some interesting connotations in Spain, like that. I know that I don't completely understand.
It does make it tricky. I do think it probably wouldn't be for Spain. It might be for like Brazil or something like that. I don't think it'd be for the U.S. either because they won't pony up the cash. But I do think he'll do it for Spain or for Brazil in Spain. I think he just wants to be there in Spain for the World Cup.
Gotcha.
Which actually brings that commentator thing interesting because it could be as a commentator. But I do think he has 2 or 3 years left at City, which means we can see a resurgence with Haaland, Florian Wirtz, who I mentioned that I think is going to get done, especially after the Musiala seems to be staying at Bayern. So
it's weird because I think at one point Wirtz kind of felt like he was the most unlikely to happen between Wirtz and Musiala at one point. And then it kind of shifted. Musiala, we got the extension and all of that. I think I would love for Wirtz to come. I just don't know if it's actually going to happen. I feel like I'm getting my hopes up for nothing. Kind of like the whole Bellingham, Rice kind of thing. It was like it would be
Terry's like I'm not getting hurt again.
Yeah, look, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or however that goes, shame on you. At some point, I got to protect my own self. Look, I'm not going to keep getting rejected that many times. I'm going to stop asking.
That's real.
I asked my wife to marry me thinking she was going to say no. I knew she was going to say yes before I asked. Don't set yourself up for, you don't just go out to somebody like, will you marry me? No. Who says that? You wait till you know for sure. You got to be confident.
Oh man.
I do think City feel confident. The new sporting director seems to be taking a real, like hitting the ground running. I know Shiki's helping them a lot with it. So I do think the Wirtz is going to get over the finish line.
I hope so. I really do.
So speaking of this, a friend of ours, he talks about it. Dylan Meehan. He is 1/3 of the Brilliant Blues, which is a once a month podcast that I do with him and the homie John. He told me that they just did an interview with a certain Boston Celtics manager, and the conversation was about Man City and his friendship with Pep. So, because I joked with him, I was like, I've legitimately have never paid attention to Men in Blazers. It just like doesn't speak to me. Like respect. But like Dylan's doing a great job at making me interested. And I was just like, bro, you're going to make me watch them. And then he told me that, and I was like, there we go. There's the first episode.
Yeah, I feel him and Pep are cut from the same cloth. They're a little crazy. Yeah. They have some quotes that'll shock you.
They are insane.
They're both really, really good coaches. So
I'm waiting for Mazzulla to just shave his head.
Yeah, exactly.
He's wearing
a turtleneck. He's gonna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's gonna start wearing the same clothes Pep wore.
Amy said the Celtics getting too much love. She said y'all got to hold that loss.
Oh, Miss Detroit, man, that hurt. I'm just gonna act like it never happened. Like even Jason Tatum got put on skates. Like that hurt. That match, like I said, that game didn't happen. So I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly. Oh man. Somebody gonna say something? Holland. I actually want to chat about Holland. Like what?
Yeah.
How are you feeling on him? Like obviously he's the greatest. He signed the extension and everything, but I don't think we've had you on since he signed the extension.
Yeah, extension, huge, great news. I do think this summer is going to be a turning point for him. He's going to have to step up. He's going to have to be the LeBron, the Jordan, whatever you want to say, the leader of the team, right? He's going to have to put it not all on his shoulders, although he does score a lot of goals, but he's going to have to be the captain. He's going to have to be more vocal. He's going to have to be more of a leadership guy, doing the press conferences, doing all the stuff the other players don't necessarily do. And I think that'll start this summer, especially if De Bruyne leaves, which I'm 50-50 on. He's going to have to take that mantle. And then especially if we get Wirtz and a couple other younger player signings, he's going to be the veteran, which is crazy to say. He's like 24, but he's going to be that guy that leads City into the next era, per se.
Well, Charlie is convinced that everybody that's over 30 in the midfield is leaving, or not necessarily is leaving, should leave, or should be asked.
There we go. I was like, I don't think he's convinced. He wants to pack their bags himself.
He would, if he could, he would. So that does include KDB. I think. Like, do you have any sense of what is he like? Do you think that he would be willing to accept that Luka Modric role of hey, I'm just gonna play 20 minutes a match. Like, I'm gonna come in the 70th minute, I'm gonna close out the match, and this is gonna be it.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he'd accept that sixth man role type, right? Especially after how this season went, it wasn't exactly how anyone thought it would. So I think one more year playing off the bench, I think would do wonders, especially if they can get Wirtz. For KDB to teach someone like that, help some of the younger guys. Foden, who's still not completely at his best, help them still continue along and develop as they should, I think would be great. And then next year he can leave to the MLS for a ton of money.
See, I'm still shell shocked, I guess is the word I'm looking for, because we brought Gundo back. Right now, again, in this case, KDB wouldn't have actually left, but I think there was a point, and I said this, right? I said when it was going through the whole Bellingham Rice thing, I was like, we need to let Gundo go so that he doesn't keep us from getting someone else. Now, we didn't end up getting anyone else, and so in that case, I probably would have been like, let's just keep him, but he was gone at that point. And so when we brought him back, it's like, it's not the same. And in this case, KDB wouldn't have left, but I'm concerned about just that 1 year too long. He's never going to change how I see him. He will always be the greatest, but I just don't want to see him struggle. I don't want to see him, again, it hurts when our legends, our big dogs, when they leave, it hurts to see Company leave, to see Sergio leave, to see David Silva leave. All of those players eventually left, and it's like, oh, I want to hold on to them, but they left at a high. I don't want to see him leave on a proverbial low.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think if he would stay, it'd be for that goal to get another Prem, to get another Champions League, but even as a sixth man, right, as a supporting player, which I think would work if Pep does it. I do think Pep has changed his mind from the beginning of the season. I think he thought he could get away with this small club or small amount of players, and then he also thought that he still had some of the same horses. Also, no one foresaw the Rodri injury that turned out to be catastrophic. So I do think Pep's going to change his ways. I think some of the older players will get shipped out. That might include Gundo, that might include De Bruyne. So I do think the summer will be exciting as January, and I think it'll only get better. So it'll be an exciting season next year.
Speaking of, man. And so I didn't see anything about this on Blue Sky. And then naturally I go over to the other app, and that's all everybody is like posting about. It's just like, dang, Holland, why you gotta like, why couldn't you do something as simple like how much water have you drank, not have you sweated yourself out in a sauna? Like, bro, like where do I have a sauna at, my guy? Like,
wait, what?
Oh, you didn't see it? Yeah.
I was like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I was like, huh? What?
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Holland on his IG story basically was just like, you know, where people are like, have you drink water today? He basically did that, but where he was just like, have you got a sweat out in a sauna?
Yeah, shirtless in a sauna. He's a hilarious guy, man. He goes through some funny phases. He also had that milk phase where he just kept drinking milk on social media, which is bizarre.
And after games, like he'd get subbed off, and he's just sitting there with a thing of milk.
Glass of milk, yeah.
Okay. I mean, listen, professional athletes are odd people. Like they're not to Amy's point, they're not normies like we are. They're not wired like we are. They're wired a little bit different, which whatever, that's fine. But okay.
I should have known. Here I was like, man, I'm sure somebody on Blue Sky has posted about it, and sure enough, Kate. Yep.
Yeah.
See it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Deep down too lazy. Bro did the freaking pick yourself up from your bootstraps, but sauna, like that's a level of privilege and offense. Like, bro, Holland, this is an L. Like, but he does pick random things like the blue light glasses or the weird glasses that he always wears before he goes to bed, and
he raw dog the flight ones. Yeah, he's a bizarre guy. So
just standing there staring the photo of him.
Yeah,
just, like,
for 8 hours when they flew over to the States. That was a weird one.
That's so great. But I mean, not even the mid deal, just just get rid of some people. And it does hurt. I do appreciate it when we do lose the people a year or two too early. Like, I hate this like pain that specific. I shared a clip from my chat with Jack Gone, and I specifically was like talking to him about that and like describing I don't want KDB to stay another year, because if he does even with the less minutes, I still feel like he's not the man that he was this season, and the drop off is going to be even more. Even in 20 minutes, what can he do? And I don't want to feel that pain. And so like I'm explaining, like I just don't want to like hate on my legend. And all Jack responded with, "It's tough, innit?" And I'll give him like he almost said something like he was like, "It's tough, innit?" And I lost it because it was just like,
try British humor, man.
Thanks. Great wisdom. Thank you, friend. Oh.
So Saul, outside of Florian Wirtz, who are like some of the names that we should be hearing about this summer connected with City?
And hopefully you include a goalkeeper in case Ederson leaves.
That's where I was going to go first. I think that's going to get spicy. I think he's going to go after Diego Costa, who's at Porto. I think he's going to definitely explore that. Ederson has not painted himself in glory. He has had some good games though, but he's not exactly the old Ederson we knew. Ortega's also, I don't think he's a big match type of keeper. He's a solid, reliable second. I do think Diego Costa will probably become a priority by the time the end of the season rolls around. I also think the fullbacks will be prioritized a little bit. I feel like we say that every summer though, so we'll see. Pep is not exactly fond of the fullbacks, as we see with Kusanov and Gavardio playing fullback. So, and then
but Vardiol has acquitted himself really well as a fullback.
Yeah. We just have to accept the fact that he's a left back now. Yeah. He that's just what he is.
Yeah,
he's not going to ever go back and be a straight center back. So. Yeah, and so now I think the same thing for Kusanov is the more he plays out wide and does well, the less his chances of moving back inside are. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
He's throwing.
I want him to do well, but I want him to do well as a center back.
Yeah, and I do think Reese, the young Brazilian they signed, will come good. He's probably need a little more time to acclimate than Kusanov did since he wasn't in Europe. And then I think today or yesterday, Echeverri. I love Echeverri. He's going to be insane.
Yes.
I think he's going to be better than Savinho.
They said he trained today, I think.
I think he's starting Saturday.
Yeah,
so that'll be fun. I do think he's starting Saturday. Pep loves him.
That's a big
He wanted him in January, but Argentina were adamant that he play the World Cup with them. So, or the qualifiers, I think, something like that. But so I think Pep's going to start him right away. And I do think he'll be one of our better wingers. Maybe as soon as next season, but definitely in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Winger.
So you think he's going to play him out wide as opposed to in like a 10 role?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
I don't like. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say he can play everywhere. He's lightning. He's box office. I think he's really, really good. So I do think he's gonna be better than some of the winners we have already. That is a little bit of a hot take. I have seen some detractors already from him, but I do think he's gonna be really good. So
hey, he puts Bernardo out there, and he's a more dynamic Bernardo. So like it makes sense. It holds up.
I guess I just don't want to see us take a really talented player that normally plays through the middle and funnel them out wide. I feel like that's kind of the trap we fell into with Jack Grealish to an extent. And he was never able to make his way back inside. We saw what he was. We bought him because of what he did playing more centrally. Even if he started on the left, he always came inside. He had that freedom and that free reign. I don't want us to take a player and say who thrives playing quote unquote through the middle and then push him out on the wing and just say keep your boots on the chalk line and wait for something to happen out there, and then take them out of the place or out of the position where they thrive. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about the kid or his ability, but it's just are we going to allow him to play in a way that allows him to be great?
Yeah, that's completely fair. I do think he sees him as a faster Bernardo, which is why I think he's going to start him on the wing. And that'll be interesting how it works with whoever's playing on the other side, right? And then also how he develops with Haaland, which is, of course, paramount. But I do think he's going to come good. And we could see him as soon as Saturday. So,
yeah, I like that.
Should be a fun game.
Before we get you out of here, how do you see that match against Argyle going?
Roll them over. They're going to roll them over. I do think Argyle's been a fun story, though. But, yeah, no, it's City's. They got a point to prove. They got to win something, right? So, FA Cup, Echeverri starts. I think Pep will probably put out all the big boys, except maybe, 2 or 3, maybe the goalkeeper and a couple others. So, I do think it'll be a nice romping that we haven't seen in a little bit. And I do think City get the job done.
Hey, I love that. And wow, my match preview with Archie from Pilgrim's Podcast, a Argyle podcast that actually will be dropping after this recording. So yeah, that will be out and available for people and Patreon, and so give it a check. And it was a great conversation and wonderful group of and naturally we kind of talked about commercialism because their club is where their club is, and ticket pricing and all these other things. So that was near the end of the conversation after we had talked plenty about the team. But yeah, they really do have an interesting story. Their manager, the fact that they are not even a year removed from their Wayne Rooney experiment. So like naturally I had to ask them about that. Yeah, it was a fun chat. Well, please.
There does seem to be a lot of Plymouth Argyle fans, which is kind of weird in the States. I never knew that. So, yeah.
Right. I know. I don't know. American Plymouth fans,
yeah,
Pilgrims. It's just like, Who did you vote for? Actually, don't even tell me.
Nope. Don't want to know. Don't even want to know.
Say we didn't land on Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, Saul, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on. You can follow us at bitterandblue.com. Always have some good stuff up there. We got some new writers, so a lot of good stuff over there. So thanks for having me on, guys. Always fun.
Of course, always pleasure. Have a good night, friend.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Hey, all right. Speaking of Detroit stand up. We got a good friend, Fletcher. How's it going, my guy?
What's going on, Fletch?
What's going on?
I will say this to start. That Celtics game did happen, and Jason Tatum got put in spin cycle. I'm not even going to let you pretend like it didn't, especially after he pushed off on Cade.
What?
That definitely happened. 100% happened. And the only reason why we didn't get a bigger highlight is because he fouled, because he was like, oh no, I'm about to be put on Sports Center. Foul. So I just need to get that out the way right now so we can progress.
I'm not even
Rip.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
Let me connect. Let me correct all of
To
this.
be honest,
Like
I totally blacked out the last like 30 seconds. I don't even know what you said, my guy. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I understand, honestly. I understand. That was me last year. So
that's real. I mean, while we're here though, how does it feel to truly have like this is the best Detroit team in over a decade, and it's a bunch of young kids balling out. This is one of the few cases of being a bad team and getting good players actually worked, because I feel like that hasn't really been successful in the NBA, even though teams do it all the time.
There's just like taking first overall and then watching them all just be terrible. So like, of course, everyone in Michigan loves the Lions. The Lions are like everyone's like baby, and like you can't do anything wrong. They could probably like we discovered our training grounds on like a Native American burial ground. And they're like, well, the Lions are the Lions, well, they got to stay, right? Like we're not going to.
Sure, they didn't know
because it's the Lions. But the Pistons were the first. Like the Red Wings were good when I was a kid, but the Pistons were like the first team to win a championship that I was like, wow, I feel like I watched the progression from start to end. Like I watched you get Chauncey Billups in a trade. I watched you get Ben Wallace. I watched Grant Hill leave, and I watched people freak out. I watched Richard Hamilton come in, and people were like, well, Jordan didn't want him.
Rip.
So it was like, okay, this seems like something. So it's always stuck with me. It was just like they were magnetizing. And also their owner at the time, Bill Davidson, really cared. Like Bill Davidson, shout out to him. He passed away. But like the first, and think maybe only owner to win 3 championships in a year for all of his teams. The year the Pistons, Shock, and Tampa Bay Lightning all won, which that's crazy. It's smart investing of your money, and it looked even better because they were beating on the Red Wings, and it's like, you wouldn't let me get the team, I'll just go get my own. But yeah, to see them playing well with a bunch of young players they drafted, and just my mic sound all quiet. I sound a lot louder now. I was looking for it for a minute, but to see that, it's I don't want to get like emotional, but like it's special because like you see the homegrownness. You watched Cade last year during timeouts looked like despondent. Like where people are wondering, is he going to be here? Is he going to want to stay? Is he going to leave? Like, do we just waste another superstar in the city? And this year he looks entirely different, entirely energized. Even with Jaden Ivey breaking his leg, like the team still feels like, they could actually win a playoff series. Win the championship, I don't know, but like they could go into the playoffs and not be a play-in, which for me is like a good start.
Amy, I got a Manhattan. That's what I'm sipping on in here. Thank you for asking.
Cola and Bacardi and cola.
Oh man. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Chelsea, because you're a supporter of Chelsea, and they started the season real hot.
Support is a strong word.
Yeah, so obviously, things are going great. How are things going?
the type of ball they're playing like makes me like hate the sport, and I hate that feeling so much. But it's so draining to look up and say, oh, who are they playing? Brighton or Wolves? Probably not going to win that game. And like even against Southampton, they thumped. It's like
crazy. Yeah,
watch them lose 1-0. Like that's just gonna. That would break me. I think I would not turn on the television for, and I'd be fine with it. I would just check ESPN and be like, "Oh man, they lost again," and just go about my day. Like I'd be fine not. And I don't even really know if the full issue. Like I know part of it is just putting people in the right positions to succeed, but I don't know. I over reliance in Cole Palmer, who is pretty good, but everyone knows he can't really go right. So once you stop him from doing that, the whole offense just kind of stops. And then you got wingers who don't really want to swing the ball into cross, but they also can only go one way. So like your whole team's built of like where like the attacking mid's supposed to be your most progressive part of the field. Where like they're responsible for getting the maybe they don't score goals, but they're responsible for getting the ball to your strikers who score and also providing a little bit of coverage. And across the front line, save for Jadon Sancho, who I love, is very slow. Everyone else only has 1 foot, and it's like, well, you're not Arjen Robben, so like I don't respect you only going one way. So yeah, sure, go the way you don't want to go. We don't care, and their offense just stops, and then Nick Jackson's confidence is broken. So
yeah,
he before he could see like a keyhole size opening and be like, I'm gonna take the shot, and now he can have an open net, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna peel it back to somebody else. And like that's crazy to see one of the most confident players just be like, yeah, I don't think I can do that. That issue has always been a Chelsea issue. They like to cross the ball, and ever since Diego Costa, they have no one who wants to get on the end of a header. So like at that point, you're just turning the ball over to turn the ball over. Like it's not, you're like, hey, we did a lot of stuff, or as they would say, like $1 million move, 10-cent finish. Like why are you doing that when no one wants to get on the end of it? It's one thing if you have a guy, but like no one wants to be in the box to receive it with their head. So maybe stop. Like I'm not a UEFA level a class A licensed coach, but like if I see the kids, like when I coach kids, if I see like, we cross the ball, no one wants, okay, no more crosses till someone gets into the box. Till then, let's work the ball here. Let's maybe attack through the middle. But if no one's there, don't do it. Because at that point, you're hoping that it bounces off everyone and goes into the net. And that just doesn't happen regularly. So I don't know.
That's fair. And Chelsea's obviously, other than West Ham, the Chelsea is one of the top clubs in London that I don't hate. So, and
openly loathe that I don't openly loathe.
That's well said. And another shade of blue. So the vibes are there. And usually, if y'all do better, that means another team in the top 6 is out of here. But thankfully, we have Nottingham Forest kind of doing their thing. Newcastle are trying to figure themselves out. But yeah, next season, hopefully y'all figure y'all things out, because I just completely need Arsenal to just drop out. We never need to see United in the top 6 ever again. Like I just need all of our biggest haters over the last decade to just take a phrase from Megan. I want them to all be dog water.
We've been saying next year is going to be our year for like 6 years. Like I don't. Todd Bowley seems like he finally figured out which way is up. It's just I feel like it might, like you're playing Sonic and you jump in the water and you go too deep and you're trying to get to the top for the bubble. Like I think he realizes where to get to the bubble. I just think the music's getting too quick for him, and he might be too late for you, bud. And like we're just stuck with this guy because he invested like the small GDP of a country into buying it. So this is just the guy we have. They have some right pieces. Like I know I spoke on a show earlier, and like they have the proper pieces to do some stuff. It's just the problem is either they can't stay healthy or they're being used improperly. Like when Kai Havertz played for Chelsea, people were like, he's going to be our big forward. I'm like, Kai Havertz is a 10. Like, I know he's tall and lanky as hell, but like he's a 10. He does not want to be up top where people are banging. Like he wants to be in the middle where he's in the control room. And they're like, we'll put him up top because he's tall. And nobody liked that. Like, yes, they won a Champions League, but nobody liked him up top. He didn't like him up top. So now he's left to Arsenal and like somehow still playing more up top and still looking just as awkward. But like,
because they brought him in to be an 8, right? To play kind of next to Odegaard.
That's what for Arsenal, I think so. They said we have a position for him, and I was like, all right. When you find out, let me know, because we've been looking for the past few years. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a 10. They won't play him there. Same issues coming back with Nkunku, who I love, but I would have loved to see him before he got hurt with Camavinga at France. Like I would have loved to see that version of him before, because since he came back, even in Germany, still effective there, but a different player. He was never really fast, but he was like quick. And the one that I see here is like not that guy. And they're like, we'll put him up top. I'm like, he's not in this league. No. He's not a 9. No. Like he wants to hit gaps. He's more of like a 10 or a wing. He's not quick enough to be a wing, but he's someone who fills in. And you're like, go up there and score 20. Like he can't do that. I can tell you right now, we've watched Timo Werner come from that same organization to this place and do the same exact thing. You know it's not going to happen. So why are you putting the pressure on this man? And there are times where, like, until he scored, like he looked like, he's gonna leave in January. I don't fault him. I would not want to be here either. The manager is showing very obviously he does not value me in a position where I can succeed. But he's still here and he scored, and I'm happy for him, because hopefully it means that they figured out some stuff to maybe at least, I don't know, finish in one of the Europe spots. I don't even care which one at this point. Like, just staying the same to me is progression for this organization. Go forward the next year, do better. But now you finish 6th or something, or 5th. Sure, that's fine. I'm not complaining. That, hey, we'll live with that. You finish 7th. I'm not gonna like it, but I understand. Like, just don't pull a Man U. Like, don't be 15th, 14th, where we're like, oh, we really have to talk about this. Don't do that.
Enzo has told everybody that it's not, his expectation isn't any like UEFA competitions, at least this year, and that could have just been him trying to temper expectations, but I don't know. I just, too many young players, all these new players brought in. He's a new manager. Like bro should have stayed at Leicester City, but I understand wanting the opportunity to try to do something, but also we see what's going on in Leicester City. Like, he would get sent back down to the Championship and we'd probably never hear from him again. So, like, shout out to him for at least taking the chance. But
wait, speaking, I go ahead, Fletcher. Sorry.
I hate when managers do. Like, I understand why. I hate when you come out and saying you're not going to win a championship is fine. Like that, we're not going to win the league. That's okay. Because, like, realistically, there are 3 teams right now that if they say they want to win the league, cool. Anyone else, like, stop. Like, you're not beating Man City, you're not beating Arsenal, you're not beating Liverpool. Those are the 3 teams. Or if you want to say something, for sure. Anyone else, you really shouldn't be saying that, because I feel like you're stealing money. But to say to your young team, we're not going to compete for these spots, eventually they start to believe that too. Like, eventually it goes from, it's one thing if you have a team of veterans, middle, late of their career, for sure. Like, they feel they're going to feel entirely. But, like, you have a team full of average age of like 21. Like, the oldest player currently is Tosin at like 27, 26. Like, that's wild in itself. You tell them, like, yeah, we're not going to make it to Europe spot. Like, eventually they're going to start being like, yeah, we are. And then if something goes wrong, they're going to be like, you know what? Maybe we aren't. And I don't like to see young shoulders slumped this early. Like the year's not over yet. They could still make a push. So to see people like, what can you do now? That worries me. I don't like I'm big into body language for sports, and like not to say like what's in between the professional players' heads, because as we've touched on, like some goofy guys, but like it's not positive to see one of your star signings like in like the 70th minute, like the game's still it's still 1-1, 2-1, and they're just like that's a terrible sign to see. And I want it to stop. I don't really know who to write a letter to make it stop, but I want it to stop. No more of it.
Go send a letter, snail mail. Tom, what were you gonna say?
So we're talking about European competitions. Chelsea is actually in a European competition, and the knockout rounds actually start tomorrow. How are you feeling about Conference League? Like, do you like? I think based off of the results of the table, you could say that there's like you make the case to be the most talented team in the competition. Is the expectation to win it all, or is that too big just based off of the age of the squad and what the messaging that the manager is sending out?
So I initially was like, yeah, when I saw that they were in the Conference League, I was like, okay, like, cool, I guess. I was like, we're going to lose to some team and like Tajikistan Junior, and like it's going to be the biggest meme it's going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, it could be the youth, doesn't matter. It's like you see the Chelsea logo losing 3-1 to like Astana Rocket 74 or whatever, and it's like, all right, well, this is what the bottom feels like, because even though it's like we played our youth, it doesn't matter, because you're supposed to assume, and it's incorrect at times, like the youth of this prime organization is better than the starters for this one, and like it's a terrible thing to just assume, but generally it's correct. And then they started winning a few games, and I was like, okay, well, maybe they're gonna be good, and then they finished the group stage up top. I was like, all right. And then this bad run of form, and I'm back to like, they're going to go to some smaller stadium, grind out a nice 1-0 win, and be like, yeah, they're going to come back and get bombed on 4-0 and get dumped out at Stamford Bridge to this team of like players you've either seen on Football Manager or like haven't seen since FIFA 2019. So I want to say they should win, but I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. And like, that's concerning to me as it is, because you should look at Chelsea against Copenhagen and be like, oh yeah, they're going to smash them. And I can't in good faith say that. Like, it's more of like, you have, like, of course you want to respect other professionals, but you have to respect them because they are good in their league, and right now they're not really good in yours. So,
and I like Megan. It makes a great point. And if Cole wants to come back to City, and
stop.
I mean, stop. Enzo can go. I'm okay with that. He can go.
So no Cole back. You over?
I mean,
sorry, I'm asking Tom.
I don't want to have a conversation about Cole Palmer unless it's like we talk about the surprise of his lineage. Like that's
what I was gonna say. But it's Black History Month. We got to, right?
We got Cole Germain. You can't forget that. Cole Germain.
That's the only conversation about Cole Palmer that I want to have.
Amy's with you. With you. That's fair. That's fair.
Gotta get the air horn whenever he starts stunting on him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Chelsea had to go toe to toe with Poole this year. Next year, next to be a top 2 race with us. And yeah, I mean, Salah has already said on multiple times, I hope, in a bunch of different ways, I hope the fans understand how hard I played for you all. And he's basically saying all the things to be like, hey, I'm out of here. We all know Trent's going to Real Madrid, and Virgil could also go to Real Madrid. Our really anywhere, and so who will pay him the
we
money
need
that
a
he
center
deserves?
back. If he wants to leave, just come on around the way.
Could you imagine?
I mean, we
What they say,
need
the head loss, and then what they call it?
Yeah.
It would be so funny.
I mean, we need a center back, but also Real Madrid needs a center back too. Like probably worse than we do. I mean, they played Chow Mini as a center back, so
that's fair. That's real. I mean, they're gonna get Saliba or Virgil, like whoever, either one of those two, they're gonna get. But Fletcher, before we get you out of here, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
So I'm on a show called The Daily Detroit in obviously Detroit, Michigan, and we were recently named to the best of list for a magazine, Hour Detroit, which is a large magazine in Metro Detroit. So like top 8 podcasts in all of the metropolitan area, which is wild to just look at some of the names that were left off. The voting is between February 7th to March 7th. Yeah, I'm doing this real late, so we probably won't win. But if you search Hour Detroit best of, and then pulls up a link, if you go down there, click Daily Detroit, and submit it or vote for whatever else you want, that'd be great, because I can then no longer say I'm an award-nominated journalist and that I'm actually an award-winning one, and then I can charge people more money.
Hey,
that's right.
Because people don't want to give you money if you're always there but never winning, and I don't want to become the Buffalo Bills. For me, like that's not good for my personal brand. Like, I mean, the size of it for sure, but the losses, I can't. My partner is shaking her head over there, looking at me. So, like, this would be good. This would be good.
Just like, what did the Bills do to you, bro?
Yeah,
I love it.
What's the link?
Hour Detroit. I'm gonna post it.
Yeah, and I mean, and even after this, if you want to, like, post it in here, and then even tag us on social media, we'll totally
boost
that. We'll pick up that.
Yeah, because I mean, it would be. I mean, we're going up against Amon-Ra St. Brown, the St. Brown podcast. Everyone like loves him and his brothers, so like it's very big uphill battle. But like David only needed 1 stone to get Goliath. I mean, that's also 1 in a million, and typically David gets stepped on. So like, I don't want to be that version of David, but you never know. So.
Yes, let's go. All right, brother. We appreciate you. Always good having you on.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course. See ya. All right, man. This is nice. Okay, now it's time to get blue, a different shade of blue. Shout out to the Evertonians. Also, some USL action. Back for the second time, I believe. Second time. Let's go, Shady Gang. Give it up for Brayden. Let's go.
What up,
Brayden?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Just like, oh, this is an entire blue podcast at this point.
I know, right?
Everton, which is really funny because everyone's like doom and gloom. City's doing bad. Chelsea's doing bad. I'm feeling great right now as an Everton fan. And like just recent stats just of Everton, they have a 7-game unbeaten run in the Premier League.
Talk that shit.
I'm pretty sure, what was the stat? I think it was like some sort of stat like that within the 6 games, Moyes has come back, whatever. It was like the best form out of every team besides like Liverpool and Arsenal. So I'm not in relegation spots anymore. So that's no longer
very far away from it. Yeah, you're way above United right now. United's closer to relegation than y'all are.
Not quite. I think after the last weekend, United did cut like a point above, but even then it's absolutely fine. Especially yesterday, I have to say, against Brentford, just gonna it was a very typical Everton match of we drew, we got a point away against a very tough opponent. But I have to say, just the transformation from Sean Dyche, who I respect for what he does as a manager, to David Moyes is just night and day in terms of how the team is playing and just the overall atmosphere of, hey, we can actually play soccer. We don't know what we're doing anymore. We can actually push the ball forward and score.
So for you, what do you think has been the more transformational moment for the club? Was it the ownership change or was it the managerial change?
I'm going to say managerial at the moment. Ownership does a lot. Like, everybody knows that, like, once you get a new owner through, you have a completely different, like, sporting outlook. But they were going to keep Sean for as long as they probably could before they were like, hey, we want to get a better manager. We want to move up. What up? But from the way it sounds like when he was eventually sacked, he said something way out of turn. And I think he was on the bus, like, going to the FA Cup match that they were about to play in when he got sacked. So just getting that out, getting the bad vibes out, and putting in David Moyes, who I'm sure every Everton person enjoys a good David Moyes game. I can respect David Moyes, not just the fact that he was a former Everton manager, it's the fact that he's very much a managerial journeyman.
Yes.
And he's never been relegated, so I'm happy with that.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Someone who hasn't been relegated as opposed to someone like Sean Dyche, who is known for doing everything he can to stave off relegation. And yeah, you're just playing miserable football and just trying to not lose every game, but then in return would lose a chunk of the games. It's not a great way. I couldn't imagine, as a fan watching that. And then even worse, the players, like, you could see that they didn't even really want to attack too much, or they were being trained to not attack. And I couldn't imagine playing the game that you love and you're being told to, like, not do the one thing that you're supposed to do in the game. It's just very weird.
Like, just the overall difference, like, playing under Sean Dyche was very much like, if we're going to score, it's going to be on a corner, or it's just going to be off a very okay pass, whatever. Under Moyes, it's a lot different. We actually have build-up play. We're actually more direct with our passing. Beto is looking like the best player we've ever had at this moment. And it makes a difference. Just having decent service, being decently good at passing, or even just attempting to do that pass. I think half the game is sometimes confidence, and they definitely have that confidence now.
Yeah, and the goals, I did like a top 5 goals for a very early morning show. Like, it's a Premier League showcase thing that I do. And the goal against United, the first one, where it was just like a million aerial duels, just like the ball was like pinballing, and then finally Beto just ripped it over Onana. I love that. I was like, that's a fucking Everton goal. Like, it's just like balls, just, it's chaotic. And I feel like they've scored a couple of goals very similar to that over the last few weeks. And it feels like it's the Arsenal team that, kind of knew, and you're never gonna if you're gonna lose, it's not gonna be easy, and you're gonna try to have your moments. And I'm here for it. I am not like, because I feel like a lot of people hate Everton for some reason. Like, it just, like, randomly people will be like, they need to get relegated. And it's just like, what has Everton ever done to you? Like, what? They're like super chill. But on that other end, I will say I have that hate towards Wolves. Like, I hate those guys, and I have no real reason why I do hate them, but I do. So why do you think people don't enjoy Everton?
If I had to say it right now, it's because they're building the new stadium at Bradley Moore right now, and it's a very much a question of preference when it comes to architecture at the moment. And people want to have the joke that you're building a new stadium and then you get relegated and whatnot. As for stadium design, it's a serviceable stadium. I can't say it's better than worse than the others. I mean, it's going to be big. It's going to be larger than
I saw something that was really they really liked it. They thought it was one of the best new stadiums around. So that's interesting.
Oh yeah, I really like it. At least on the outside. Outside architecture makes it a whole lot better, whatnot. Inside, it looks like any other generic stadium. A lot of people said it looked like Schalke, whatever. But I'm like, it's accessible. It's brand new, state of the art. What more can you ask for? I mean, it's the same thing with like when you build out from old stadiums. A lot of those old stadiums were built by the same person, same designer back in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have the same design. You're not going to have the same look or feel about it.
So is the plan to move the men's team into the new stadium, and then the women's team will then take over Goodison Park, or is just Goodison Park just going to go away as a whole?
Goodison Park will be redeveloped like many other old stadiums, unfortunately. But it makes sense. It's definitely one of those like push and pulls of you like the old stadium, but you can't stay there because it doesn't maximize what you need in terms of match day revenue or other amenities, whatnot. And like I feel that too. I am a New York Yankees fan, and I did go to the old Yankee Stadium one time in my life. Best birthday present I ever got. And does it feel the same as current Yankee Stadium? No. That's a lot of nostalgia for a 5-year-old me, though. But at the same time, sometimes it's just you can't continue. And that's how it is.
Yeah, 52, almost 53,000 people. So yeah, that's a solid number for a stadium. For sure. And it is on the outside of it is very beautiful, and it's on the river. Like that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Speaking of on the river, I'm doing some spy work, Sir Braden. I
was wondering if you saw it.
Yeah, I was doing some spy work in the background on the river. What are you? What's your take on Casey Curran's all teal kits?
Oh boy! I mean, today's felt like Christmas Eve and my birthday wrapped into one for individual kits, because that's probably one of my like favorite release dates. Just like I love the end as well. I love the Current, though they're not my absolute favorite team. I'm a Gotham fan more than anything. But Kansas City is the nearest 3-hour drive for me, so go to plenty of games. I will actually be at the home opener coming up.
Oh, nice.
We'll have to connect.
Overall, I'd say, I'd say teal kit. It hits the one pet peeve I have with kits overall, and that is the trend of putting a map on a kit and saying that's the kit. And I don't dislike the color. The color is perfect. It is amazing. I love the accents, but it's just the one pet peeve I have with kit design sometimes.
Even if the badge is where the stadium is supposed to be, I read that they've strategically positioned it so that the badge is right where the stadium is. So that's a pretty cool twist on it. If you, in my mind at least, I don't pay close attention.
Cool detail, but at the same time, I just feel like it's just very like copy pastes on there, and that's just my personal opinion. Granted, I'm a kit collector. I have a bunch in my wardrobe, all that stuff. But it just feels, I don't know. It's not disingenuous or not like perfect. Like it works extremely well in this case, and it's definitely one of the better ones I've seen. But at the same time, it's a personal preference at the end of the day. Still, the color's great. I love the accents though.
Start the party, Los Angeles. I am not a Yankees fan, so I do not get that reference.
Oh God, please don't.
All right. She's Dodgers, so sorry. I guess I didn't mean to set you up like that.
Yeah,
no, you're fine.
Oh man. I mean, but let's talk about Union Omaha a little bit.
Yeah. Well, preseason's ended. They finished up the friendly that they had today against Tulsa FC 4-4 over 3 halves. Interestingly, they played 3.
Interesting.
You gotta love preseason like that. But overall, I'd say it's been a pretty decent preseason. And according to one Reddit post on the subreddit, apparently we are the real deal this year because someone was at the friendly today. So am I delusional? Probably a little bit. But after winning the league last season, both Shield and playoffs. It's very big deal. Very big deal. Most successful team in USL League One, probably the best team in third division United States soccer. And of course, the question is, what are we going to do to follow that up? Well, thankfully, we have Dominic Cossieto, head coach, returning for a third season, the mastermind at it. And we also brought back quite a bit of our winning class, but we also lost some of our big guys. So we had Steven Dos Santos, one of our forwards, retire at 35. He is a huge USL legend. Give him a shout out for that. And then, of course, we had Pedro Dobola, our amazing Brazilian number 8. He is now at North Carolina FC in the championship. These guys are our 2 top scorers. We do not have them anymore. So the question is, what are we going to do with that? And looks like we're going a little bit younger this year. This is very similar to other rebuild years we've had, where we've gotten like a little bit younger. But at the same time, I'd say it's pretty exciting. This year's interesting because we got like 5 expansion sides in USL League One. So we don't know quite where everyone is. The talent's moving around a lot more. But I'd say if you want to do consistency, just say Omaha's going to win.
I like that. Who is Union Omaha's like rival?
Rival? So we technically have 2, you could say. We have Greenville Triumph in South Carolina. We share a nice little wrestling belt as a trophy between the supporters.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, in the playoffs this last year, we won 2-1 in the semifinals against them. Got to retain the belts. Very big thing. Very cool thing there. And then I know your buddy Scarface is not going to like this, but Madison, Wisconsin with Forward Madison.
I mean, that makes sense. They think very highly of themselves, and they do pretty well also. So that holds up as they'd be the op.
And also, they're like the closest team right now. I think it's like a 6-hour drive. But we'll also be doing a away day for that on the June 7th match for Union Omaha in Madison. But in terms of rivalries, it's a fun time. I'd say another interesting thing that's kind of developing is with Spokane Velocity in Washington. We played them in the final this last year. And in the regular season, we split 2 wins each in both regular season and cup competition. So that was always a very interesting thing there. But in other, go ahead.
Oh no, that was.
Yep, sorry, I thought I heard something. But in other kind of interesting news, Union Omaha is currently working on a soccer-specific stadium downtown. Except the interesting thing is that it was announced that they were going to attempt to buy some land downtown, but unfortunately, it was found out, I think, about a month ago. Yeah, it was about a month ago that they had withdrawn from their initial approach to buy the land. So they're kind of on looking around again. So that was a big news drop right there.
So where do they play currently?
So currently we play in Warner Park, which is technically not in Omaha proper. It's in a suburb called Papillion in the county over. And Warner Park is a baseball field, so we are flipping the field every single time.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's not a great like experience in terms of like, is it the best thing in the world? No. The field is barely FIFA regulation. Like it's extremely tiny.
Yeah, not bad.
But given the circumstances that they're in, the ownership also own the minor league baseball team there. They recently did sell their stake in the minor league baseball team there, though, more or less as a way to show that, hey, we're focused on soccer. We're going to be moving out soon. But
the Storm Chasers?
Yeah, the Storm Chasers. Yeah, the AAA.
I only know that because I live here. Then like that's our AAA affiliate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, relationship wise, it's kind of odd. Just like, oh, you're in a baseball stadium. You can clearly see it's a baseball stadium. But at the same time, there are other venues within Omaha. It's not like we have no options. There is University of Nebraska Omaha. There's Creighton University. They both have soccer fields there that are pretty nice, I'd say. If it was up to me, I would try to find a way to play at them, but they're kind of hard to work with. So,
Understood. So I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana, home of Fort Wayne FC, and which is a club that is, I'll say, co-owned or minority owned by DeMarcus Beasley of the U.S. national team fame. But so they've announced that they're in USL League 2, semi-pro, and they've already announced that next year they'll be moving up to USL League 1 and becoming professional club. They've announced plans for a new stadium that seats about 8,000 people. So they've got big plans. What are your thoughts on U.S. soccer? Well, not even USL, I guess, announced the creation of USL Premier. What do you think that will do to how the teams are currently positioned? Do you see your team moving up to, say, USL Championship? Do they think they stay in League 1? And I assume the plan long-term is for there to be promotion relegation, but do you see your club saying, hey, we want to move up to USL Championship, or do you think they'll stay USL League 1?
Well, so when the club was first founded, initially the ownership was like, hey, we want to be in Championship. And so they kind of shopped around, and then they looked at Sporting Kansas City 2, and were like, hey, let's do the same thing we do with the Storm Chasers. Let's just do it in Omaha, whatever. And then they're like, nah, we can't do that. We won't do that. But we will give you a USL League 1 franchise. And so from day one, it's always been to play at the highest possible level that we can. So Championship has always been in the cards, provided we get a soccer-specific stadium. Looking towards 2027 is probably when it's going to be all done and said. But as for announcing a first division sanctioning for USL, it's very interesting because they have done this before in the women's game. They did start the USL Super League this last year. They are playing on a European calendar. They're currently playing their season and whatnot, and they are a Division 1 team or Division 1 league along with the NWSL. My only slight hesitation is who of the USL Championship can be a part of this, and can they actually get the investment into that? Because there's quite a big jump from D2 to D1 in terms of requirements, whether it be ownership or stadium capacity, that are not technical, but just hurdles, more or less. But at the same time, it sounds like USL has a pretty good overall relationship with US Soccer right now. A lot of leagues will initially, when they first start or are trying to get to a certain level, they will have waivers to operate. MLS has used waivers multiple times in the past, especially during their early years.
NWSL has to.
Yep. Once they set up a top league, whatever, they're going to try and figure out promotion relegation. The hard part is that you need a supermajority of teams from both leagues, not in total, to implement it at the moment. Not sure why that's the rule in the league, but that's what it has been. Ownership has said repeatedly that if there's ever a vote, they would vote for promotion relegation, which makes sense. It's kind of no-brainer. Omaha has won 2 league titles, 3 regular seasons. We kind of want to be up there. That's our level. Yeah. But at the same time, it's U.S. Soccer. It's you have D3 teams that are trying to find their market, find their niche, whether it be Madison or Richmond, Virginia. And then you have teams that probably could be MLS caliber in terms of ownership or stadium, like Louisville City. And they have those ambitions of playing at the absolute highest level. And that's the goal at the end of the day, is allowing teams within USL to hit that ceiling that they can possibly hit.
I love this.
That's dope.
Okay, well, this was a wonderful conversation. Please let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Okay. So I am main contributor for Who Gives a Hoot podcast. That is the main unit Omaha, like coverage, whatnot.
Fantastic name, by the way.
That is a great name.
Oh yeah, not my idea. I recently joined within the last year as a contributor. But also I'm going to shout out another little side project, Omaha Club Flush. We have a brand new couple different clubs sprouting out within Omaha in the Midwest Premier League, which is a semi-pro league during the summer, kind of like USL2. It is run by the wonderful Tim Howerton, or Ranting Blue Penguin on Blue Sky. And that's kind of like what I do. I try to cover Omaha just in general, in terms of soccer, as well as just that basic promotion. So that's kind of where you can find me there.
Yeah, wow, that league that you were talking about, there are a bunch of teams in my area around. Like Iowa has like 5 teams in that. But there are also a lot of teams in that league. But I want to try to tap into it a little bit more.
No, Omaha teams will be in the same conference as the Iowa teams this year, so definitely gonna be in that area as well. So that's gonna be nice.
Okay. Well, great. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good seeing you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on.
Definitely let me know when you come down to CPK Stadium.
I'll be coming down that Friday before the home opener. And I'll be staying, I think, in the Overland Park area with a buddy. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great. Perfect. Hey, I like that. See you, friend. Wowie. What a show. Shout out to our most dope guests. So, Fletcher and Braden. Let's see. Who do we have?
This was a very... Did y'all feel like this was like an episode of Crips or something? Because like we just had all the blues. Just us, Chelsea, Everton, like just all the blues.
It was so comfortable. It was weird not having to like get like randomly attacked by somebody. It was nice. So
like,
next
what up,
week,
cuz? Right, exactly.
What up, good? We got Ty Brooks. He's our Citizen fan. Then we got Theo Lloyd Hughes coming through.
Yay!
Our friend Musa Mo Football.
Yes.
A wonderful show for you next week. All right. We will be back Saturday, Sunday. We got some watch along.
Well, I didn't mean to want to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm about to say something really crazy or silly, whatever. But
let's go.
We do not pick between our Damali twins, right? We love them both equally.
Oh.
However, only one of the twins was in the comment section today. So I feel like one of them loves us more than the other. we would never love them any different.
No, we can't pick one.
I'm just saying. I don't see Katie in here anywhere. I don't see Kate in there nowhere.
I'm scrolling.
So if she's listening, or if she watches this back, I just want her to know that she was missed. We didn't see her posting, and I kind of felt some kind of way. But I'm thankful that Amy was here to pick up the pieces. That's all I got to say.
I love it. Oh my God!
I've been sitting on that since like halfway through the show. I've been waiting.
He's been waiting since Saul got off. That's
exactly. I was just like, I don't want, because she was giving him grief. I was like, yes, I love it. I was just waiting for it to get to the end and see maybe she was going to show up and show us love, but no, she didn't. So, again,
wow,
we don't have favorites, but obviously they do. So Amy loves us. I'm not so sure about Kate right now. She's still working. Okay, I'll give her credit. I'll take that.
But also she'll take it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we have watch alongs this weekend.
Yes.
The match preview with actually both of them. I think I'm probably just going to drop both of them on our Patreon. The Tottenham women with Lauren from Gold Diggers, and our match preview with Archie of Pilgrims Podcast. The first 15 minutes will be dropped on our YouTube, on our public. But if you want to enjoy the full episodes and all of our amazing media that we have on there, $6 a month, help us out, support an independent podcast. And the things that I'm setting up to do in England, the good stuff, I'm gonna keep it cute on social media, but for the most part, the good things, I'm hiding it behind Patreon. So tap in, have some fun. We'll see you soon. Yes, at least the last 5 minutes. Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Yes, for sure.
Love you too. Come on, City. All right, the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady.